What's going on, guys? Well, today I'm trying another cigar. Very excited about this one. This one is the Blanco 9. Alright, from Blanco Cigars. Got this in trade with Bryan from CigarObsession. And I've known about... Ooh, that smells great. I've known about this cigar for a few years. Never had the opportunity to get one. God, that is such a rich, pungent smell. It's kind of... there's like... I mean, it's just kind of like aged tobacco. There's a little bit of like, maybe like a dark chocolate thing going on. And a ton of earth. Ooh. The foot smells very sweet. The wrapper smells totally different. So anyway, Blanco 9. This is a 6.5 by 52 torpedo. You can see the top here. And I'm guessing this one has a couple years age on it. I know Bryan mentioned a few of the cigars were aged. Not 100% sure this was one of them or not, but I know he has a very vast collection, so there's a good chance of that. So I got the Perfecto cutter here. You can see that. Oh, I moved my fingers out of the way, maybe you can see that. So for torpedoes, we have that little hole in the back, so that can move its way all the way through. And I might do 2 cuts on this, just depends on what the draw is like. Alright, so this first cut. Yeah, I'm going to do a second cut on here. Just to open up a little bit. I don't want to have any issues down the line. That seems good right there. So, pulled up some quick specs on this so I wouldn't forget. This is a Nicaraguan cigar. There's a Corojo wrapper and some other Nicaraguan tobaccos make up the binder and the filler. And I think I mentioned 6.5 by 52. What is interesting, which I read, is why they call it the 9, which I did not know until I just researched it. But they called this the 9 because they were pretty known for some of their medium blends, and they wanted to make a full-bodied cigar, and this is their 9th attempt. So they made 8 different blends, didn't really quite like it. This was the 9th attempt at a blend for a full-bodied cigar, and obviously it stuck. And apparently it was also their 9th year in business, so it totally makes sense to call it the 9. Alright, I'm back. Had to refill my lighter. This is the Vector Summit. It is windy out here, so the single torch is a nice addition. I do find myself using this lighter a lot more. So, ton of flavor upon the initial light there. A ton of earth, but it's not like, it's kind of subtle. It's not in your face earth. There's also a spice there. Definitely some kind of a, like a zing, a spicy sensation. Not really a flavor at all, but a little bit of like a mouth tingle going on, which is pretty common with a lot of cigars, at least in the initial light. I don't know if that's going to last or not. Two little snips on there was perfect for the draw. It doesn't seem like a super heavy pack or anything. We're getting plenty of smoke on the draw. Yeah, I mean, there's just, it's mostly just smooth, kind of creamy earth, which is a little unique and different for a start. I've had plenty of cigars that have an earthy start, but usually like a big, zesty punch. The spice is kind of subtle, and it is a little bit creamy just right from the start, which usually ends up happening on a lot of cigars I've tried anyway later in the cigar. You know, a lot of times they start off kind of rough, and then as you smoke and, you know, it smokes down, that's when things start developing and it gets a little bit creamier, a little bit smoother, but this one's pretty smooth and creamy right from the start. It's quite pleasant. I'm looking, there's some turkeys crossing the road. You guys can't see it, but they're over there, just kind of hanging out, right in the middle of the road, so hopefully no one drives by anytime soon. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm going to enjoy this cigar. It's starting to get dark already, unfortunately, so I'll probably turn on the porch lights here. I got my new issue of Bud K to look through, so I will be doing that, enjoying the cigar, looking at some cheap weird knives, and I'll get back to you if anything changes. Alright, so this is my view, what I'm looking at while I'm smoking this thing. We have a male turkey on the right, all puffed out, trying to look handsome for all the ladies on the left. So, wish him luck. He's doing his little turkey dance, scraping the tips of his feathers on the ground. It doesn't look very impressive to me, but I'm not a female turkey, so I don't know. But anyway, that's what I'm looking at, in case you're wondering. A little bit of nature. Sadly, it doesn't look like it's working out for him very well. Since they're all walking away, he's got to chase them. Alright, so I want to give you a quick update. It's only been about 10 or 15 minutes so far. Perfect burn. Some things that I'm noticing about the cigar right away is it is just super, super smooth. I don't know if it's the aging on this particular cigar or if it's just indicative to this cigar, but it is just noticeably smooth. Really, really pleasant to smoke. The major flavors are still earth, but there's also cocoa. And when I say cocoa, you automatically think chocolate, but if you've never had cocoa powder, there's no sweetness there at all. You know, chocolate as we know it is sweet. Even if you like dark chocolate, there's some sweetness there, but cocoa as a flavor, by nature to me, is also kind of earthy. So it's a really nice pairing. And it just so happens because it just rained, you know, there's an earthiness in the air. That soil, that wet ground smell is kind of rising up in the air. It just pairs really nicely. It just so happens to work out time-wise that I'm smoking an earthy cigar, you know, while it's raining. But it's just really, really nice. But it really stands out how smooth and kind of buttery and just well-rounded it is. And the burn's perfect. There's no issues at all. It's a perfect draw. It's a really, really nice cigar so far. I will also say that I already kind of feel the nicotine or the body, the strength of the cigar. It's supposed to be full-bodied. I know that. Only, 10-15 minutes in, I'm already starting to feel a little bit. So I am going to assume that it's only going to ramp up, but we'll see. We'll see as time goes on. But it is really good so far. So I'm definitely enjoying the beginning of this. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Just a quick update. Still going through my Bud K. So I'll let you guys know if anything exciting is in here, and I'll let you know if anything changes with the cigar. See you in a little bit. Alright, the first ash just fell. That was unfortunate timing. I just turned the camera on to show you something in the catalog here. So, anyway, first ash chunk was a little over an inch or so. Cigar is still awesome. No flavor changes or anything. But I did want to turn the camera back on to show you this. Door knocker. Self-adhesive. Now, it's absolutely ridiculous. I will say that Bud K, all these years later, still cracks me up. I started getting this catalog when I was probably, I don't know, 12, 13 years old, something like that. Maybe even sooner than that. It's been around forever. And they're known for just, cheap, junky stuff. But even in my 30s, I will tell you that when I open this catalog and I look through it, I have the exact same feelings that I did when I was 13 years old. I want everything just because it's cool. It's usually very low quality. It's usually stuff that you probably wouldn't actually want to use. There's just something about it. I still enjoy looking at these catalogs. Absolutely hilarious. So yes, if I was 13 again, I would have that door knocker on my door to my bedroom because I thought it was funny, and I would make my parents use it to see if I'm in my room. Anyway, let's get back to the cigar here. So, yeah, flavors are the same still. It's really nice, super smooth. As you saw, it just, happened to ash. So that first ash, chunk fell off, one nice solid chunk. But yeah, I'm also noticing kind of a room note because the wind's picking up a little bit. It's kind of wafting into my face, and it smells very, very pleasant, very nice. It actually smells a little bit sweeter than it tastes. But I will say that I'm definitely starting to feel the, you know, the power of the cigar. So I just so happens I had dinner before I turned the camera on and started this, which was a good idea. I probably wouldn't smoke this on an empty stomach, but we'll see how it goes. Also, probably 25 minutes in or so, I would say. I mean, I don't know, I'm not going to guess, but probably about an hour, maybe a little over. So we'll see. Talk to you then. All right, so right now I'm about 45 to 50 minutes in. Getting close to the band here, so I'm going to try to slide it off. Also have some updates going on. Oh, that wasn't bad. It was a clean slide. All right, I do like saving the bands. That's why I try to slide them off. But anyway, there were some flavor changes. But I'll also let you know before I get into the flavor. I got up to get some water because I usually drink water when I'm doing these reviews. Otherwise, I'd be drinking, you know, something else. Sometimes I'll have a little splash of rum or some whiskey or something. Other times I'll just have, like, you know, Coke Zero. Just kind of depends on my mood. But that's off camera. So if I'm actually enjoying a cigar and not doing a review of it, I don't mind mixing all kinds of flavors and stuff. But for review purposes, I just drink water. Long story short, got up to get some more, and I felt it. Did you ever do that? I mean, if you're watching the video, you probably end up smoking cigars. Maybe you just watch it because they're entertaining. But if you do smoke cigars kind of regularly, you might have a more powerful one, and you don't think it's powerful. It's kind of like if you're drinking, you know, if you're just drinking away, you're like, oh, I'm fine, I'm barely buzzed. And you stand up and you're like, ooh, never mind. That's what happened to me. I thought it's kind of medium-bodied. I stood up and no, it's pretty much full-bodied for me anyway. I feel like it is because I can definitely feel it. So, yes, as far as flavors, so there's the cocoa thing going on. There's the earthiness that's there, but there's also a little bit of leather, which is really nice. It's something I don't always get with cigars. And here comes the rain, which is nice as well. Yeah, there's a leather that picked up, which is really, really distinctive. Started tasting that maybe 5 minutes ago or so. I'm really enjoying this cigar. Oh, and here comes more rain and winds. I'm starting to get that mist, which actually feels really nice. I'm out here in a t-shirt. It's probably like maybe 65 degrees. The wind's making it a little bit chilly, but when I started, it was very comfortable. But it feels nice. I love smoking cigars out in the rain, especially a storm. I wish it would be thunder and lightning right now. But anyway, yeah, the cigar so far, kick butt. I'm curious how this is going to finish. So I'll get back to you on the tail end of things and let you know what I thought. Alright guys, I'm calling it here. There's probably like another maybe 10 minutes of smoke on this, but it's actually getting a little bit hot right now. I don't know, maybe I'm just smoking it faster at the end, but let's see if I can lash that for you. So yeah, I mean, there's maybe 10 minutes left, but for me, I'm going to take one last puff, call it a night. Yeah, it's just starting to get a little bit hot and pretty squishy. So yeah, I'm going to let it do its thing. Instead of snubbing it out, I'll let it slowly drift away. So yeah, wow. First off, before I get into the cigar, let me just say I really wish I can play some music for you guys. The whole copyright thing just kind of stinks because after I read the catalog, I end up just listening to some music on my phone, and it's awesome. Who doesn't like music, right? So I'm a classic rock kid. Grew up in a household that listened to classic rock. Most of you guys have been following me for years know that. So that's what I listen to. 95% of the time I listen to classic rock. Started off with some Zeppelin, went to some Pink Floyd, started thinking about some other stuff I haven't listened to in a while, listened to some Neil Young, some Tom Petty. But whenever I'm smoking a cigar and listening to music, there's one particular song that's not really classic rock. It's a spin-off of a classic rock song, but it's a song I have to listen to if I'm smoking a stogie. And that is Hotel California, but not by the Eagles, by the Gypsy Kings. It's just something about it, that Latin feel. It makes me feel like I'm in Havana, you know, or maybe down in Miami. Just sitting here, leaning back, That's why I feel like I'm on a beach in Miami. But it's awesome. If you're not familiar with the song, definitely worth looking up. I happen to love cult classics. I'm a huge fan of The Big Lebowski. That is a song that plays when the Jesus is introduced and sitting there licking his bowling ball in his Barney jumpsuit. But anyway, yeah, awesome, awesome song to smoke a cigar to. And like I said, I wish I could just play that while I'm doing my review, but whatever. Thanks, copyright. Yeah, the cigar was fantastic. I'm going to go out on a limb and say this was the very best earthy cigar I've ever had in my life. It was phenomenal. Towards the end there, the leather kind of was coming and going, you know. It was a little bit harder as it warmed up a little bit. It was harder to really pull those flavors. That's why I decided I was done smoking it. But yeah, earth, but like earth like I've never really experienced it before. Super, super smooth earth. Just such a creaminess to it. The cocoa was there. The spiciness in the very beginning, I don't know if I mentioned it, but that kind of dropped off very, very quickly. It was just a sensation when I first lit it for the first 5 minutes or so. But yeah, I mean, just cocoa, earth, and a little bit of leather coming in and going towards the end. Phenomenal. Just buttery and creamy, smooth, just super, super smooth cigar. Wow, that was fantastic. If you've never had a Blanco 9, I highly, highly recommend it. Generally speaking, when I smoke cigars, I try to smoke different cigars every time. I like the experience. I'm a hobbyist, you know what I mean? So I'm only smoking, you know, at most maybe once a week. More times than not, I'll smoke like 2 cigars a month. So, because I also, you know, interchange with pipe smoking. So I don't smoke that often. And when I do, I always want a new experience. But this is one of those few cigars that I would definitely buy if I was at a shop or something and I saw it. I would certainly pick it up, or if someone offered it in trade or something. It's really that good of a cigar. If you like the earthy flavor in cigars, this is definitely something you have to try. By far, my favorite earthy experience. That being said, you know, there's so many different varieties of cigars and so many different flavor profiles that people like. Earth might be something that you don't like. Maybe you like woody. You know, maybe you like some of the sweeter flavored cigars. Maybe you just like that chocolate coffee thing going on. I've heard some people say that there's coffee in this particular cigar. I didn't taste any of that. That would have been a really nice addition as well. But for me, it was just all super smooth earth and cocoa. Really, really nice. So I do highly, highly recommend this cigar if that sounds like something that you would enjoy. So if you've smoked a Blanco 9, let me know down below. Also kind of curious, if I got another one, I'd probably get a different shape. You know, as opposed to the torpedo. It smoked totally fine. If you could see the bottom, as I showed in the beginning. I only made 2 little cuts, so it's still kind of narrow. You know, it's probably like a 40, 42 ring gauge or something on the ends, and it was totally fine. Sometimes with the torpedoes, if you don't cut enough off, it kind of collects, like that tar and stuff builds up and it's hard to draw. Totally fine. Burned beautifully. The draw was perfect all throughout. So yes, very, very awesome experience. So that's it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow with another video. Take care.